everyone, and welcome back to our Golden 20s podcast. I'm here with my co-host, Sadie, and we have a very special episode this week because we have our friend Alaina on as a guest. Alaina is the founder and CEO of Purpose Media and the host of Girl We Gotta Talk podcast. If you follow us on Instagram, you probably saw that I think a couple of months ago, we were on her podcast just talking about life and all that good stuff. Her podcast is mainly about lifestyle topics like relationships and friendships, entertainment news, and so much more. So we had her join us on this week's episode to do a little mid-year recap on all things pop culture. And it was so much fun. And I'm very excited for you all to listen. Did you maybe want to introduce yourself for our listeners who maybe don't know who you are? Talk a little bit about your podcast and maybe the history behind it, why you started it?
Yeah. So hello, everyone. I'm so excited to be on here, first of all. Thank you for having me. Yeah. So I'm Alaina. I actually host a podcast as well, pretty similar to this one, I would say, which we were just kind of saying. It's called Girl We Gotta Talk. And I started that back in 2020, like a couple months before we know what happened. Before that all kind of went down. So it kind of shifted in a crazy way, but it shifted in such a weird kind of positive way. I just wasn't anticipating it to. And I learned to really adapt and interview guests online instead of kind of what I was anticipating, which was in person. And it's been an incredible journey so far. It's really fun. It's a lot of pop culture, but it's a lot of just like girl chat. Like it's called Girl We Gotta Talk because the concept in my head, kind of starting it, was I really wanted people to feel like they had a space. So Girl We Gotta Talk can mean like a couple different meanings. Like, girl, we gotta talk. Like, I have to catch you up on Vanderpump Rules. Like, are you caught up so we can chat about it? Like that kind of thing. Or like, girl, like we gotta talk. Like, I just went through a breakup and like I need somebody to vent to, and I need somebody like to give advice. I need some advice. There's like multiple meanings to it, and it's kind of just like everything that I wish I had growing up in a podcast. And so it's been really fun. That's kind of just like my passion project. And I've loved it. So yeah, I've been doing that for 3 years now. And then I own a business called Purpose Media as well. So I do social media management, I do videography, and I run multiple platforms for small businesses, other podcasts, and just business owners in general. So that is kind of what takes up my day most of the time. And yeah, I'm 25. I live right outside of DC. I'm in Arlington, Virginia right now, which is super fun. And I love this area so much. So living with 3 of my best friends for a couple of years now. And yeah, just trying to get by. just trying to do it all. And I'm so happy that we're on here because I just love chatting with you guys. I feel like it's such a like safe space, but also it's such a great outlet. I feel like we're all so similar and our podcasts are so similar. So I'm just so excited to be on tonight.
Awesome. We love that so much. And I feel like so if you guys don't know, we met Alaina through like another podcast that we were both on, and then we were on Girl We Gotta Talk. So now it's like finally coming full circle where we're having her on our podcast. So we're so excited that you're here. But also I just love, that we're getting to know you a little bit more, because I feel like when we were on your podcast, we were just, I don't know, talking about ourselves a lot. And now it's like, yes, we're turning things around, getting to know you. It's so great.
It's so weird being on the other side of it, too.
Yeah.
It's so odd. I'm like,
is.
Like I felt like I was just like on a speed dating thing right there. I was like, I'm 25. I live in DC. Like, what was that? I don't know. I don't know how to do this.
You're killing it. I love it.
Yeah.
So you talked so much about, first of all, actually, I think it's so awesome that your podcast took off and, like you said, in a positive way, in what could have been a disaster, with like the pandemic and everything. It's like, okay, well, this isn't part of the plan, and I guess we just have to pivot. But you've stuck with it for 3 years, and I think that's amazing. And you've launched a other business, and I don't know, I just think it's so inspiring how like entrepreneurial you are, and how you're just managing all these things and, like you said, just trying to get by, but you're thriving in my opinion. So can you talk to us a bit about,
Thank you.
how you are able to, or how you were able to turn all of these passions into your actual career and what you actually do full time? Because I think that's a hot topic for people our age and in their 20s is, okay, I don't want to work a corporate job, or I have these dreams of being a content creator or owning my own business, but how do I actually go about doing that?
I think like especially nowadays, it's way more common to hear somebody say that they quit their job in corporate and started doing something that they liked more. I think we're starting to see that so much now. But when I guess I'll rewind. I was in college and I had a radio show for 4 years that I loved. I did it with my best friend, Sarah, and we had it weekly. So that was like an outlet that I had that I just like half the time, I'll admit, like we didn't even prepare for it. We would have like the crappiest week, and our show would be for a couple, I think 2 years it was like on a Monday, and then 2 other years it was like on a Wednesday. So like we would roll into like the show and be like, what are we going to talk about today? Like, I don't even know. And it was like pop culture-y, then we would play music and stuff. And you could tell what days we didn't prepare because we'd probably end up, playing more music than talking.
Right.
But most of the time we just kind of like winged it. And it was just like this space that we had to like, first of all, see each other. Because, life is so crazy. And like, even if you're in a college town and it's small enough and you think you're going to see somebody a lot, you really don't. And at least until the weekend. And so it was like, oh my God, like, how have you been? So it was like so nice having that for 4 years that once I graduated, and I talk about this all the time on my podcast, and I had when I first started it too, because that was like really the focus of it was post-grad. It was so hard. Like I was really I moved back to my parents' house in my hometown after I had just spent 4 years being like an independent person that like had all these goals and dreams of I wanted to be originally like a sports broadcaster, and then that turned into like a journalist in news. And so when I was in school as well, I did like news. I was on the like news channel for the school and told all these stories, and it was like the best thing ever. And that was my dream. So when I moved back home, I was like, I'm going to do this. Like, it's going to be so great. And then I started to realize like maybe that specific route wasn't what I wanted, but I needed like an outlet. And I ended up getting a different job that was great at the time. I just like didn't love it. And so I just kept finding myself being like, I need one more thing. Like I feel like I'm missing something and I can't put my finger on it. And I remember like talking to my friend Sarah, the one that I did the show with, being like, should we do a show? Should we like do it? Should we do a podcast? Like, and at that time I feel like, it was right before their pandemic. I feel like more people started understanding what podcasts were once the pandemic hit because everyone's like, I need something to like listen to. What is going on? And so it wasn't as common. And I was like, should we do it? And she wasn't super into it at the time. And I was like, I think I'm just going to run. Like, I'm going to do it. And I didn't think too much about it. I just was like, this is what I want to do. I came up with the name and started coming up with like graphics and like concepts. And then I just felt myself get like the fire in me a little bit.
I love it.
And when I had the fire in me, that's when I didn't want to think too much about it because I didn't want to overthink it and then talk myself out of doing it. Because I was like, if I am so excited about doing this, I'm not going to ruin it for myself. Like, even if this is a total flop and people are like, what a weirdo, I don't care. Because, like, look how, like, cute and happy I am. Like, this is so embarrassing. Like, look how much I'm smiling. This is weird. I'm alone. Like, I was just like, this is what I want to do right now. So I did it. And I remember telling one of my coworkers at the time, I think I'm going to do a podcast. And she was like jumped out of her chair, was like, Alaina, like, that is everything you need. Like, that is it. You better do it. Like, this is going to be so great. I'm going to tell everybody. I was like, please don't tell anybody right now. Like, I'm still like, in the design process. Like, I was still like, I love the support, but like, tone it down because now you're making me freak out a little bit that I'm like, real people are going to see and hear this.
Yeah.
But I think that because I was so passionate about it and because I like, it's one of those things too, and I do this with online shopping, I am not an impulse person. I kind of am in the sense of like, I'll add it to my cart right away. But then I have to sit on it. And if I keep thinking about it and I keep going back to my cart, then I'm like, okay, let's evaluate the situation. Do I really need that skirt? I think I need it. I don't really have one like it. Like, okay, maybe I'll do it.
Yeah.
That's kind of like what this was. Like, I just remember I had that thought of doing it and I was like, all right, I had it. Like, that was the thought. That was fun for a minute. Maybe not. And then I just kept like thinking about it and thinking about it. I remember telling my boyfriend at the time, I was like, I think I'm going to do this. And I just was like, screw it. Let's go. Let's just jump into it. And that's kind of just my mindset with a lot of things. And I think that's also kind of how purpose happened too, because I was like, I love being able to tell people stories. I love seeing people that don't know how to utilize social media, but have an incredible business thrive, because now I get to put everything on social media and people are getting to see their incredible business or whatever they do. Like, I just was like, I'm going to do it. Like, who cares? So I think that's kind of my mindset. And I will say, like, I was doing these things while having a corporate job. So I wasn't like fully like pro bono, which is like not getting paid for anything. Like, I had a stable job, fortunately, but and I was just like, I mean, it was like my lunch hour, I would record a podcast with somebody. Like, at night, I would like do all this stuff. So I was like multitasking. I was trying to fit everything into the day. And like, I remember like blocking off my calendar for this like big podcast guest that I got. And I was like, nobody will call me at this time. Like, this is a big deal. Like, I was so excited about it. And I just like, I made it work. But I guess like ultimately what I'm trying to say is that I don't think that you should overthink something that is getting you so excited and really bringing you happiness and joy, because you're afraid of what people are going to say. You're afraid of failure. Like, I will say, and I'm sure you guys know this too, like, starting the podcast was a learning curve. Totally. I had all these like cutie ideas going into it, but then it's, okay, put those cute ideas out there, like, do it. How are you going to do it? Yeah. So I learned a lot going through it. And I like tell everybody, like, don't go listen to my old stuff, because like I would probably just, you would be like, you're an idiot. Like, well, you sound like, first of all, probably a child. But you learn as you go. Same with my business. There's a lot of things I do differently now than when I first started. And that's the point. Like, you learn, you grow from things. But I wouldn't like psych yourself out if you're like listening to this now thinking like, okay, maybe I should just do it. Do it. I don't think you should talk yourself out of something that's going to bring you joy. Yeah.
Yeah, I totally agree. I feel like we had a very similar, I don't know, like start to the podcast where we were like, we should do a podcast, and like you throw it out kind of like as a joke, and then you take it seriously and you get excited. But then there's always, I think, a moment where you're like, well, it still needs more work. Like, the logo's not quite right, or the Instagram, or maybe we should build a following before we, launch it. And I feel like you can come up with like 100 reasons not to start it. But I heard someone on TikTok recently say like cringe is just a step on the way to success. And so now every time I'm scared, I'm like, they're not going to look back on the cringe when you're successful. Totally. They'll be like, yep, that was just her doing it. It's only cringy until you get there.
Wow.
So now
I love that. New motto. I love that so much. Because I also was thinking like, my friend Sarah that I keep talking about that had the radio show with me, she was just visiting like 2 weekends ago. And we were talking about the show and how horribly cringe the first few years were. Honestly, probably even the last a little bit, but like, because we would live stream it and we would put it on Facebook. Like, that I like, even the thought of it makes me physically cringe. But now it's like, okay, who cares? Because like, look what I'm doing now, So I love that. I love whoever said that. That's amazing.
I love that. And I feel like we were so overdue for this chat with you, because already I'm feeling so amped up and like inspired just from like hearing you talk about this. Because that is my thing 1000%. Like, my whole life, I'm like, I just want to own my own business. And then I start thinking about things, and then I'm like, well, no, in order to launch my website, this needs to happen, this needs to happen. Like, everything needs to be perfect before I actually go for it. And then I get to the point where I like overthink it, like you were saying, overwork it. And then by the time I'm like ready, I'm not excited about it anymore. And that fire inside of me has burnt out, and then nothing ever comes from it. Or then it becomes like too much. I don't know. It's just like I'm overworking it to the point where it's not enjoyable anymore. So I love that your advice is like, go for it and like just do it, figure it out along the way, because I think that's something actually that I think has been the biggest piece of our Golden 20s podcast for me, is not having to be perfect at the beginning. Like, yeah, this is my first podcast. Like, yeah, I don't know everything, but that shouldn't hold me back. Like, we're learning as we're going, learning from mistakes and getting better. So I love that. That's how your story like started, and like how your podcast started. And you're like, now I'm just going with it, going for it, and figuring it out along the way.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, we did want to ask you a little bit about pop culture, because I feel like Sadie and I are like a little bit out of the loop with.
I'm so out of the loop.
Yeah. I feel like we get stuck in like, I don't know, the early 2000s or something. So it's like there's niche things that we keep up with, but I have no idea what the youths are watching, what's going on. Like, we just have no idea. So then we were like, okay, we need to ask you about this and you can fill us in and keep us young. But what are like some big pop culture moments from this year that are just like have rocked your world?
I think I have to start off with like Scandival, which, have you heard of that? Let's start there. Have you heard of Scandival?
Yes.
I've heard of it.
Okay. So something about me is that I'm a huge Bravo holic. Like, I love everything Bravo. I watch pretty much every show on Bravo. I'm a big Housewives girl. Love Vanderpump Rules, which is where Scandival is at. Below Deck is great. Below Deck is like such a good entryway show. Like, it's a gateway show to Bravo. I feel like if you want to show your boyfriends that, like, they'll be like, I don't want to watch it. Then they'll watch Below Deck and they'll be like, oh, it's kind of good. And I just love it so much. Like, there's so many things I could say about Bravo, but Scandival has really taken the world by storm. I am so shocked at what happened. And I don't even think shocked is like a good enough word. I was actually trying to explain this to my boyfriend on FaceTime the other night, which is so funny. And I was doing such a terrible job, so I'm going to try and like do a way better job. But basically, it's just, overall, it's a huge cheating scandal. Vanderpump Rules, for background, is a show that started 10 seasons ago based off of Lisa Vanderpump's restaurant. So she has like multiple restaurants in LA, and she was on a Real Housewives show in Beverly Hills. So like, she had probably pitched the show to Bravo being like, I have some crazy ass employees at this restaurant. We need to film them. And it started off and it was a hit like immediately. It was so good. I was like, oh my God, I loved it so much. I still do. And Tom Sandoval was on that original season. He was dating this girl, Kristen, at the time for like 2 years. And he's like one of those guys that like shaves his forehead, like really loves to dress up, like really loves himself. And I think that was sort of like what drew everyone to him. Essentially, they were like, well, who's this guy? Like, what's going on? So he's pretty much, for the most part, I would say, like, stayed out of like a lot of drama. He's always tried to portray himself as a good guy, because there's been a lot of bad men on the show and people that cheat on their wives and their girlfriends and say mean things to people. And he's always kind of, for the most part, like gotten by without that kind of image. So he's been dating Ariana for 9 or 10 years. They're like one of those couples that like don't really want kids. Well, he wanted kids, but she didn't want kids. And they just like never got engaged, but they were just like this partnership. They bought a house together. They started multiple businesses with each other, like they wrote a cocktail book, like being bartenders at this restaurant and all this stuff. So like they were kind of like the stable couple throughout the show that like didn't really cause drama. Like they were just kind of there and they would like get the drama from people, but like for the most part unscathed, like they were fine. Okay, well, bing bong. News broke that he had been having an affair with another castmate, Raquel, for months, 7 months. Raquel, 2 years ago, or maybe 1 year ago, maybe like a year and a half ago, the last reunion, and now like tonight or tomorrow is going to be the first day of the reunion for this season, so like last year's reunion.
Okay.
she announced that she's breaking her engagement off with James Kennedy, who was another cast member. So like that was like a big thing, right? So it's that girl Raquel and Tom Sandoval, both like, I guess she's single, but he's in a 10-year relationship. They've been having a 7-month affair.
Oh my God.
Horrific. Like, I don't even have words for this person. Meanwhile, like Raquel was, you know, being best friends with Ariana the whole time, like being such buddy with her. And even on the show, like making comments in her confessionals, like, Ariana is like one of the best people I know. Like this,
oh my God,
these people around me are just like my people, and like they're like so supportive, and I just like don't know what I would do without them. Meanwhile, she's literally sleeping with her person. Like what? What?
Oh my God.
It is like nothing I've ever seen before. Like this level of deceit, and like now that it's happened, she has like no remorse. Like it is like insane to watch, you guys. So it's so crazy that like this little Bravo show has like blown up. Like Jennifer Lopez is talking about it, Christian Chenoweth, like all these celebrities that's probably never even like watched the show once are talking about Scandival. It's nuts. It is nuts. I think that's like just by far trumps everything that's happened this year. Because I think every day I find like a new piece of information out about this, and like I just throw it up on my story for the podcast. I'm like, here's more information that we didn't know. Like it is so crazy. It is, there's not even words.
Oh my God. I think you like summarized that so well, because I'm like, okay, I've been like seeing things. Yeah. I'm seeing things on Instagram, like every now and then I'll get things on TikTok, but like it's not like my predominant like For You page. I'm just like, okay, I'm picking up things. I knew the names, but then I was like, okay, so whose side are we on here? Okay, got it. Also, I was remembering, like you said, how like it just became this like pop culture like moment where like celebrities are talking about it. Brands were talking about it. I saw I'm obsessed with Shay Mitchell and her travel company Baze. It was they made a post about it because Raquel, she took one of their bags and they were like, just so you guys know, we don't support this. Like it was this whole thing, and I was just like, oh so my God, this is iconic. Yeah, it's so good.
It is so good, and like I don't think anybody would have guessed, number one, that this would have happened, but number two, like honestly, like countrywide, maybe even like worldwide chokehold that it has on people. Like people that don't know what the show was started binging it from the first season. Like they were like, okay, I need to know who the hell these people are. Like here I go. And they binged it in like 2 days because they were like, I have to know what's going on. Like, why is this so nuts? Like, I need to know the dynamics. And like when the show first came out, I remember there being like sort of a chart of like, okay, this person used to hook up with this person, but is currently dating this person, but he also used to hook up with this person who's this person's best friend. Like, it was just like an intertwined web. And there's so much to like know about all these people and like the different dynamics, but like at the end of the day, like this person cheated on basically his wife for 10 years for 7 months. And there's just so many other like slimy things about it that like I said, I find something new out every day. Like, I think last week they came out with the finale. So normally, like, these Bravo shows, they plan out, like, okay, there's going to be X amount of episodes. The last episode is typically, like, someone has an event, and so that pretty much all the cast members are there, like, happen to be there, and then they can kind of be, like, they do the whole, like, black screen, white words, like, Sheena had a baby and is very happy and living in the valley, like that kind of thing. So they already had done that episode and probably edited it, whatever. But then this happened. So they did like a finale to the finale, which was like they turned all the cameras on. They ran to everyone's houses and they were like, we have to get this on camera. Like, this is insane. So it was like all the girls like kind of coming around Ariana, like being there for her. It was the conversation Ariana had with Tom Sandoval, which was just like disgusting to watch. And just like everything happening, all the moving parts and people telling the stories to other people in the show and like comparing timelines with people. It was like, first of all, so well done as just like take yourself out of watching it. Just like whoever edited this, shot this, decided that this was going to go here. chef's kiss, like reality TV gold, and very well done. Like that's what I remember telling my boyfriend, because he's like film and he's all that guy. So I was like, the way this was shot, like it was brilliant. Like it was so well done. Like, everything about it was so well done. But it's just sickening. It's so crazy, you guys. I can't. Like it's so bad.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's crazy that I have heard of this, because I'm very much in like the film world. So it's like prestige television, and, like the Oscar movies. But then it's like this Bravo show, and it's like people filming the reactions. So now I'm like, what's going on? So I've seen their conversation where I guess like she confronts him or whatever. I've seen that, and now I'm invested. So my question is it worth it, me going back to watch this whole show for this drama? Should I just watch the season? Should I just live it through TikTok?
I feel like you should start. Okay, this is also where this interesting tidbit comes in. Okay, so Ariana started dating, and I hate to even say this because this is not an excuse why this happened, but just for context.
Okay.
Ariana worked at this restaurant where everyone works. It's called Sir. It's in LA. So Ariana was like the new bartender or whatever at this restaurant when Tom Sandoval was dating his ex-girlfriend, Kristen. They had like a very toxic relationship. They probably should have broken up like 2 years before they did. It was really bad. They dated for like 4 or 5 years, I think, or maybe even more than that. Ariana came into the picture, and like Tom kissed Ariana while dating this girl. So then I don't remember all the details, but they ended up breaking up, and he got with Ariana.
Okay.
So people can say like, like I don't even want to say it, but you lost him how you got him kind of thing. And but I will say, for context, it's interesting to see how their relationship progressed, because like they really did seem like they were meant for each other. And I think even Kristen says it in this like finale. She's like, we weren't right for each other, babe. Like that is so long gone. Like I'm not even worried about that. And she like came to Ariana's house and like hugged her, and you know, now they have the same ex-boyfriend and they're like coming together. But it's interesting to see how that relationship formed. So I'll go back and see what season it is, but maybe you should start around that season instead of going all the way back. Just so you can see like how like they were so like tight together. Like they were so good together and defended each other in every scenario, like ride or die. It's just, yeah, I would say maybe do that. So I'll look to see what season. I feel like it's like season 5 or 6 or something, but it's a lot. But I do think you should go back and watch it because it's really good. Like I really like it. You're going to watch it and be like, I hate her for saying this. I regret it.
The funny thing is my husband loves reality TV.
Really?
Like, and the trashiest, like I've never seen any of the Kardashians. I don't know. I know who Kim is and I know who Kylie is because she has lipstick. And then the rest, I'm like, they're vibing. I don't know who they are. He's like, before we started dating, was caught up. He knows all the tea. And then it's just like something we never like got into. We watch like reality competition shows.
Okay.
And he loves when there's drama in them. So now I'm like, let's remove the reality competition element. Just have all the drama.
He would love.
That could be fun.
He would love Vanderpump Rules. He would love it. He would eat it up. I love that. God, I wish my boyfriend wanted to watch stuff like that with me. Oh my God.
Only certain things. We both have bonded over our love for Jersey Shore, which is probably the last time I watched a show like that.
The OG,
so think,
yeah.
Yeah. I think I should get back into it, especially with summer. Feels like a summer vibe. I don't know.
Absolutely. I agree.
That's so funny. I can also like picture Tyrell like getting in on like the social media side of it and like tweets and like the Reddit threads. Like I can see him going deep into the reality TV world. So
I love
funny.
that. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So funny. Okay, well, thank you so much for catching us up. I'm also like, okay, I know it's like maybe dying out now, but I'm like, maybe I go back and watch this. Like the thing now that I know how
I feel like you have time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, Tag. You
have time because I think
night. Let's just binge it all.
Tyrell, do it. The reunion, I think. We're recording this on a Tuesday. It'll come out, the reunion, I think the first part is on tomorrow, the Wednesday, and then the following Wednesday. It's always a 3-part reunion, which is just like gorgeous.
Okay.
But then I think there's like 2 extra bonus episodes because of the scandal. Like they're just giving it to
They're giving the people what they want.
You have time. You have time. Yeah.
Amazing. Love it. Okay, what else? Tell us something else that's been going on. I feel like that one.
That's just like the only thing.
Yeah, we weren't as out of the loop as I thought. I will give us a little bit of credit because I was like, okay, I'm actually following. I know these people. I know what she's talking about. I was like prepared to just totally blank.
What do you feel like like that's going on? I should ask that. And then maybe I can like elaborate, or maybe I can pick something else.
I'm trying to think.
Because you guys are big on TikTok. Actually, let me ask you this. Because you guys have fantastic TikToks. And I feel like you're active. Did you see anything about Sofia Richie and her wedding?
Okay, yes.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I feel
trying
like
to understand why it was such a big hype. Like, people are like,
I have
obsessed
no
with
idea.
It. Okay.
And I'm one of those people, but I'm just like, I don't know why. I'm like, I think I'm in love with her. Like, something's going on. So okay, let me ask you a second follow-up question. Do you guys know the guy on TikTok that does like different scenarios? I think he's like, it's like Octopus Lover. And he's like, okay, where he's like, 5 called 6 to tell him that 7, 8, 9. And then he like, it's so funny, you guys. Oh my God. Okay. So he blew up because his content is hilarious. People will write in all these things. I feel like he in itself is a pop culture moment of the year. Yeah. Because everybody knows about him. People will write in and be like reenact like the Mona Lisa getting like her portrait painted or whatever. And he's just so funny, so creative. They're quick little videos, but they're so hilarious. He's actually like childhood friends with Sofia Richie. Oh. And which is so like random and crazy. And I think that, so she got engaged. Something about Sofia Richie, she used to date Scott Disick, which he dated Kourtney Kardashian, the oldest Kardashian, and her 3 kids are from Scott. Yeah. So Sofia dated Scott Disick for like a couple years, and the age difference was pretty big. Like she was like, I think like she might have been dating him from like 20 to like 22, like young. Okay. And then she's still pretty young. And people were like comparing her fashion sense from that time when he was like, she was in the Kardashian world to now where she's dating like a businessman, like bazillionaire. Her fashion has like really elevated. So like that got a lot of buzz where she's very like classy now. Like her outfits are very like old money, kind of like dressed with like her like the pants and the dresses, like it's all very just like elevated, where she used to wear like booty shorts and tank tops and like sandals with Scott Disick, which that also I feel like happens when you grow up a little bit. But I think because she was friends with, I don't even know his real name. I think it's Jake, the Octopus Lover, whatever. I think he must have given her, this is my theory, just like advice on TikTok, being like, because she didn't have a TikTok. This is the other thing. She didn't have the TikTok until her wedding. So then she started making wedding content, being like, get ready with me for my rehearsal dinner. Get ready for me, like with me to do this. And people just got like, I think it's because we've never seen her like this that people were like glued. And I think that's a brilliant PR move, because I don't know if she has a team or if that was her friend or what it was, or she just like felt like it in that moment. But it brought so much buzz around her wedding, and it brought so much buzz around her in general because no one's been talking about Sofia Richie. And I think it was just like, I don't know, but people were just like, wow, there she is. We haven't seen her in a while, and like gorgeous. Like I think also she's very poised. Like she's very just like a nice girl, like very polite, just very like classy. And people, I don't think we see a lot of that kind of type anymore. So I think it was just like something new, and people that don't even know her were following the wedding. Like, it's so funny. Yeah. People that I would talk to be like, I don't know who she was, but like that her dress saved it. I screenshotted it. I'm like, what? That's so crazy.
That's so funny.
So like whatever she did worked. Yeah. I don't know.
Okay, that was the side of things I was seeing where people were like, if you want to know how to rebrand yourself, like follow Sofia Richie. Like she just knocked it out of the park.
Yes.
Like, if you want to know how to essentially, become like blow up on TikTok overnight, follow what she did. Like, she just literally captured everyone's attention out of nowhere. And it was just like, all of a sudden, she's what everyone is talking about. So that is so interesting.
It's
and I
so
was just like,
crazy.
what did I
mean,
miss?
she's a genius.
Yeah, no kidding. And you're so right about like the fashion stuff. Like, I feel like Vogue, I follow Vogue on YouTube, and like they had like so many like videos about her wedding and all this stuff, and like all of a sudden she's now like on all these like fashion blogs that I follow and like all this stuff, and I'm just like, what am I missing? Like, where did this come from? But I'm also just so intrigued because like you said, it's like, wait, we're talking about her again? Okay, I didn't know, but she's making us know.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's so crazy. I think like whoever told her to do that should be hired by everybody because, and I guess it's like different because luckily she was somebody that wasn't on social media. So I think it'd be interesting to see that tactic happen on somebody that has already been super active. Right. Like, I don't know if you just like go dark for a little bit, come back, or you just do a complete like 180 and like rebrand yourself. Like, I am so interested in like the PR side of that thing. Like, I don't know. It's so interesting to me. I just love that kind of stuff. I also love, what's her name on Girl Boss Town on TikTok? She always like predicts PR moves from celebrities. Like that side of stuff is so interesting to me because I'm such a consumer of pop culture. Yeah. And I like really, really enjoy like just, I don't know what it is. It's like sports for guys. Like I'm just so enamored with it. And it's not necessarily like I like to see people get upset or like get cheated on. It's never like that. It's just like I'm just so interested in all these people's lives for some reason. I don't know them, but I love it. Like I just love to just like be in the know. I don't know. Yeah. So but I also love the other side of it with like behind the scenes of the PR moves and like even when like Pete Davidson, which I feel like nobody's talking about him anymore. Thank God I needed a break. But he was just like the PR move. Like girls who needed a little bit of a rebrand or people, you know, they wanted their names in people's mouths. You go to a basketball game with Pete Davidson. Like he was the move to do that. And I think it got old and I think it got overused, but like stuff like that is so interesting to me. And like, I don't know. It's just, that world is so different from my world, but here we are.
Yeah, I feel like I see the shift, especially with Taylor Swift now leaving her like very private relationship where it's like you used to see Taylor Swift like once a year. Yeah. Now it's getting to the point where I'm like, my entire Instagram feed is just like Taylor Swift in New York doing this. And so I don't know.
It's so interesting because Taylor Swift is one of those people that if she wants to be seen, she'll be seen. But if she doesn't, she will not be seen. Yes. And something that, like, obviously, I think we all know now, and, like, when we were younger, I don't think we, like, fully comprehended it. But, like, paparazzi, like, celebrities will call paparazzi themselves. It's not always, unless you're, like, super, like, I feel like Taylor's probably being followed some of the time. Yeah. But they call the paps themselves when they want to be seen. Like, if you want to be seen with, what is his name, Matt Healy, like, you're going to, okay, fine. Here, ring, ring. Like, I'll be at this restaurant on 5th and whatever. There they are, like, leaving a restaurant. And it's, like, getting all the buzz. It's getting people talking about them. And before, she was secluded. Like, we never saw her. I'm so interested in that old relationship she had because now there's, like, things coming out. And, like, I don't know if they're all rumors or whatever, but that he was getting very jealous of her once the tour started of all the, like, fandom. And, like, he hadn't been with her while she was on a tour in this relationship. So, like, he was not prepared for it is what, like, is, you know, everyone is saying kind of about their relationship. So it's interesting because I wonder if he was just, like, secluded with her, like to be alone with her. And then the second that she gets, like, any attention, he can't handle it. And that's why they broke up. So now she's like, well, I don't have him weighing me down. Might as well call the paparazzi on this new boy. Like, I don't know. It's all interesting. It's so weird. I don't know what's going on. Are you guys going to the show? Like, did you get tickets for this tour?
She still hasn't announced Canadian dates. And so we were like holding out. I think it's been like 6 months or something since she said that there would be international dates. So if we would have known it'd take this long, we probably could have just like planned a road trip.
You guys could have just come here. Yeah,
exactly. So now we're just, I don't know, committed to, she's got to come one day.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know.
It's so crazy
gonna
too, because
happen.
my whole For You page is for some reason Taylor Swift's concerts.
Mine
So
too.
I
Yeah.
feel like I don't even need to go.
Mine
So
too.
I
Yeah.
feel like I don't even need to go because I've already seen the concert. I remember this one night going to bed and this one woman had, it was just TikTok live of the whole concert.
Oh my
The
God,
whole thing. She was just sitting there
yes.
streaming it. I'm
Yeah.
like, you are for the people.
Yeah.
Like, you are for the people. Thank you. It's so crazy.
Yeah, I feel like it was like that with Harry Styles too, where it
Mm-hmm.
was like, it might have been like once we bought tickets, my entire TikTok was just like Harry Styles, Harry Styles. And I was like, okay, I guess this is my personality now.
Yeah, it's so funny that you say that. I will still definitely see Taylor Swift live. I will still pay anything to see her, I think. But my TikTok has become Taylor Swift, swipe, Beyonce, swipe, Taylor Swift, swipe, Beyonce. And Tegan and I are seeing Beyonce in July. And I'm like, I can't watch these because I want to see it in person. You know, like I don't want to ruin it for myself. Like, TikTok, please, no.
Yeah.
But they know I want to see it, just not yet, you know?
I like that. Like I'm not going to see Taylor Swift, unfortunately. I almost got tickets with some of my cousins, but I didn't end up getting them. And
Yeah.
now I'm kind of like regretting it a little bit. But now I feel like I've seen it. But if I was going,
Yeah.
I'd be so pissed. I would not want to be seeing that every night, like, or every day I'm on
Yeah.
TikTok. Like I like the element of surprise.
Yeah, I just saw one girl was posting.
Yeah.
She was like, I have tickets to see Taylor 3 nights when she comes in to New York. And she's like, but she's watching all the songs because she's playing like a surprise song every concert. And she's like, these
Yeah.
are my favorite songs that I hope she plays when she comes to New York. Like I'm seeing her 3 nights in a row. Like surely one of these nights she'll play one of these songs. But these songs are being sung at the earlier shows and she's getting so disappointed that they won't be played at the New York shows. I'm like, oh my God, girl. Like, you know, I'm like, you're ruining this for yourself because now you're, disappointed. But obviously when you're there, you're going to love whatever song she sings anyway. I don't know. It's just so interesting. And yeah, it's interesting how TikTok fits into all of this. But it was helpful for the Harry Styles
crazy.
concert
Yeah.
where I was like, okay, I know exactly what to expect. I know exactly like the call outs or the callbacks that we have to do when he like says something. Like it was like homework. I was like, hey, I can show up to this concert prepared because of TikTok taught me how to do it.
You can get like outfit ideas, like what are other
Yeah,
people wearing to the concert, like all that kind of stuff. And like, yeah, it is helpful in ways, but it is so different from like when we were younger going to concerts and you just go in blind, like fully blind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So different now.
Okay, guys, I thought of something else that I just like recently came across on TikTok, maybe like end of last week, and it's the whole Free Britney 2.0. Are you guys in the know on this? No?
No.
Oh my God.
No.
Okay, well,
We need to free her again.
guys, they think Britney's missing. Oh my God, you guys have not heard of this?
Oh, I have heard
I
about
got
this. No,
in
I have.
deep.
Or it's
Hold
like a
on.
doppelganger or something, right?
So they think Britney's actually
God.
like missing and that her Instagram, and I don't think she's on TikTok, but her Instagram like reels and all these like little videos of her dancing and stuff are actually AI filters on somebody who's not actually her.
Shut up.
And I got like deep into the conspiracy theories on TikTok. I don't know when it was. I feel like it was the end of last week. Maybe it was just this weekend, but you know how TikTok goes. You have no idea what day it is, what time it is when you're that deep into it. But yeah, so this is now the conspiracy. And like there's like videos like really slowing down the AI filters where it's like, oh yeah, like there's one specific video where she's like throwing her hands above her head and then she brings them down over her face and somebody like slowed it down to the point where you can see where the filter like breaks and then it's like somebody else's eyes completely. Like it's so weird.
Oh,
The
no.
background is like very clearly a green screen where there's like, I don't know, flowers in it, like one shot and then like she continues dancing and then like a few seconds later there's no flowers in the background anymore. Like it's like this whole weird thing. And at first I was like, I don't know about this, but then of course I keep scrolling. TikTok keeps serving me more content. I'm getting deeper into it. And people were saying how like when she was still what's the word I'm looking for? Like when she wasn't Free Britney, what is her dad had over her?
She was
Not censorship.
she had
You know the word I'm
she
trying
had
to say. I cannot think of the word.
Yeah, but
but
now I need
you
to
know what I'm
find
trying to say.
Yeah.
Her dad and like people were trying to figure out a way for her show to go on without her there using AI. And now they're like, this is essentially what's happening, and she's probably not okay. And they're just like using AI to essentially fabricate her presence on social media. Where is
No
Britney?
way.
And it's like this whole thing. And I'm like, oh my God, it's so crazy. People, sorry, now I'm like going off about this, but I had no idea how much I had to talk to people about this. But there's also been things coming out where people think her marriage is like fake and whatever. That's actually how it started for me, where they don't think her wedding actually happened. And there's like all these interviews pieced together, like from people who were supposedly at her wedding. So there's like a Paris Hilton interview, like on some late night talk show, she's being asked about the wedding. Selena Gomez, Drew Barrymore, like the most random people who were at her wedding. People have like pieced together things that they were saying about her wedding. And it's just like so interesting. But then it's like, if these celebrities, like huge names like Drew Barrymore, Selena Gomez, whatever, are in on it, it's like, why are they in on it? Do they know the real story? Like, what the hell is happening? It's so weird. And then also people
It's
thinking
creepy.
it is creepy, and it's really like fucked up if it's all true. Like, I'm like, I hope it's a conspiracy, because what the hell is this world that we're living in if it's not? But then also, people are saying that her whole marriage is fake and like her husband was like hired kind of thing. And then people found like when Aaron Carter was still alive and was doing all these random like TikTok lives and stuff, people found where he was like essentially being like, no, Britney Spears' marriage is like fake. He's like a hired guy and like all this stuff. And people are like, Aaron was right. He knows. And it's just like crazy.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, it's so crazy. So it's not reality TV, but I feel this is the next big pop culture moment that 2023 is gonna maybe blow up. Who knows?
Whoa.
Yeah.
Well, I already know what I'm going to do tonight. It's going to be get to the bottom of this on TikTok.
Don't do it too late.
This is so
before
great.
bed,
Also,
because you're going to be freaked the fuck out. You're going to be like, what the hell is going on? Because that was me. And like I said, and then I was like, oh my God, can I trust anybody? Like, I'm not even close to being Britney Spears level, but I'm like, how do I know things are true and like real in my life? It sends you down a dark hole.
It is such a crazy world.
Yeah.
Also, the word conservatorship.
Yes,
She's
thank
under,
you.
or she was.
Yes.
But then, okay, so all of that was so crazy, like the whole Free Britney movement and the details that we found out that were like actually going on, but then like other people are saying that's not really the case. Like, it is such a mystery to us as like consumers. We're like, what is going on? That is nuts. Because even when that all went down, her videos were such a forefront of everything. Like, that was kind of like the tell of she's not okay.
Exactly.
She needs to be like saved.
Yeah.
She needs to be taken out of that house. Like, what are they making her do? Like, what drugs are they giving her? Whatever it was. Like, now that it's potentially fake, and, like, we don't know where she, like, oh, my God, I'm going to doom scroll tonight. I already know.
Yeah. Maybe there's been an update since I last, like, was scrolling, but.
I'll let you know.
Please do.
I'll keep you updated.
Yes, please do. Okay.
Well, anything to take my mind off of Scandival. That would be good.
Okay, well, outside of what's been going on so far in 2023, what are you looking forward to, both like in the pop culture world? Is there TV shows that have yet to come out that you are so pumped about? Are there movies coming out? Like whatever, anything like that? Concerts you're seeing, anything? So that side of things, but then also just like on the personal front, it's like a good little mid-year check-in. What are you excited about for the rest of the year?
Yeah. Okay, so I guess I'll do like TV shows, movies, stuff before.
Perfect.
I am so excited, you guys, to see the Little Mermaid movie coming out with like I forget her name now. Hallie.
Hallie something.
Hallie something.
Halle
She's
Bailey,
gorgeous.
yeah.
She's a twin or a sister. She's a sister, and they used to do like pop music, and now she's like the Little Mermaid.
Yeah, I saw them open up for Beyonce when I saw
God.
Beyonce in New York.
That's
and I was like, who are
crazy.
these two random girls? I did not
So crazy.
personally enjoy it, but
Yeah.
it's also just like not my vibe of music. And I was like, bring up Beyonce. But now I'm like, how crazy that now that girl is Ariel.
What a different way to
amazing.
go. Like, I mean, her, she had like, her and her sister had like one song that I remember was like all over TikTok for a while, but like I never really listened to them. And then when she came out as like the actress on here, I was like, she looks so familiar. Like, how do I know her? And then I was like, no way. This is so crazy. She is like, oh, just a goddess. Like, this is like the perfect role for her. I feel like I'm just so excited to see it. And it's going to be so nostalgic. I'm just ready to see that. And then I've also just been going to the movie theaters a lot lately. Like my boyfriend, like I was saying earlier, is a big film guy too. And he loves going to the movies. He'll go to the movies by himself. He'll bring friends, but he like loves going with me. And he's really gotten me into it. I said something like a couple months ago about a movie. And I said, he's like, we could go see it or we could just watch it like when it comes out on Netflix. And I was like, no, but like going to a theater is like a way better experience. And he was like, that was so hot. What did you just say? And I was like, it's so, but he's like made me into this like, I don't know, you get a better experience in the theater. Yeah, like it's so good. And like when it first comes out and you're like getting your popcorn, such a vibe. But I'm excited for that. I feel like there isn't a show that is like coming out, but I've watched a lot recently that like just came out and then I binge them. Firefly Lane came out on Netflix and it's like the 3rd season. Yeah. And I was like asking all my roommates, I'm like, are you guys watching that? Like that's like the show I just like watched privately for some reason. Because when it came out, I didn't want to wait for anybody. I just ended up like watching it and I love it. Like it is so good. This last season, the 3rd season, I think is probably going to be the last one. I've never cried more in my life, like in a good way. Like it was like sad and then it was like happy tears. But I was watching the final episode, last Thursday when I was at the airport and I was like at the gate watching it on my phone. I had my hat on and I like kept putting it like lower because I was like literally crying with the phone in my lap. It was so embarrassing, but it's such a good show. I just started the show Shrinking on Apple TV, which is really good. It's Harrison Ford and what is his name? Jason Segel. And they're both therapists. They work at the same like building and it's really funny, but then it also covers like a lot of mental health stuff and it's really like well written. I feel like most Apple TV shows are just like good, hearty TV shows. Like they know what they're doing. Yeah. And that's pretty good. But yeah, I'm just like a Bravo girl. It's like kind of the only stuff I watch and like look forward to, which is probably a lame answer. And I bet I'm missing some, but that's what I'm looking forward to, like with pop culture. And now I'm looking forward to this Britney stuff and getting to the bottom of it. Thanks a lot.
Yeah. Sorry. I definitely ate up the rest of your week. You're just going to be obsessed with this. Yeah.
I'm going to like literally have to message you and be like, I'm so deep. Here's all the details I found. Like I'm going to blow your phone up. Just wait.
At like 4 a.m. I'll be like, okay, great. So funny. Yeah. Are you a Love Island girl at all?
Ooh, okay. I watched like 3 seasons of Love Island UK like back to back with my girlfriends last summer, and we haven't gotten into it this summer. It's also just like I feel like we never have enough time these days.
I know
to like sit down because Love Island is like a hefty boy.
It is, yeah,
yeah. But I really liked the UK one better than the US one. I felt like they were just so great. We watched it with like the season with like Gemma, and then we watched like what's her name? Ekin-Su and like Davide. Like that was like our favorite season. We watched like 3 or 4 seasons. It was so good. But yeah, maybe we'll get into that. Is there a season coming out soon?
I just watched the US one, but I think that's usually in July. And then I was just recently seeing that they're bringing out a spin-off series called Love Island Games. And it's bringing together islanders from all of the Love Islands. So UK, US, and Australia. Oh. So I'm so curious to see how that goes down. I don't know when it's coming out or really anything else outside of that, but I'm like intrigued.
Yeah. Wait, Tegan, your boyfriend would love that show. I mean, your husband.
Yes. Yeah, we watch Love Island, and he watches, like, I don't know. We only watch the American one.
Competitive.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Well, Netflix just had that, like, Love Island ripoff. What was that called? But we watched it, and we were like, it's no Love Island.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but he gets deep into, like, I don't know, like, scandals behind it, like who actually has a boyfriend at home and is just doing the show to get
Classic.
famous and stuff like that.
Classic.
I love
Yeah,
it.
we love it. But it is a time commitment, especially if you're like traveling during the summer. You come back and you're like, I've missed 8 hours
Yeah.
of the show.
It's insane.
But so good. Great. Any like personal,
personal.
exciting things coming up?
Yeah, I feel like I'm just doing a lot of traveling lately. The summer is just like ramping up already, and I've been to like 3 places in the last couple of weeks, and I'm just like exhausted, but I'm having so much fun. It's just like a lot of birthdays, and people are getting married in my life, and so like a lot of bachelorettes this summer, which I am so excited for. And then weddings, a lot of weddings, just like a lot of people getting married. And so a lot of travel with that. But yeah, and then I guess kind of a big milestone, I am moving in with my boyfriend of 5 years in August. I know, I'm making the jump.
Exciting.
I'm doing it. Yeah, so we've been long distance for pretty much our whole relationship, and it's been surprisingly great. I mean, there's definitely like really shitty days, but for the most part, we've pretty much have managed it well. But you know, he had a job in a certain place, I had a job in a certain place, and just made more sense that way, unfortunately. And so now that I am kind of just like working for myself, I kind of have a little bit more freedom. And I think also I've lived with my friends for a couple years now, and it's been so fun. Like, highly recommend moving with your girlfriends if you can.
Yeah.
And it's just been like, I have had the best memories and just the best time here. But now I just think I'm on my next little chapter, and I'm so excited to like make the jump. I'm moving to a different place and just moving into a different place. I'm going to be living with a boy. This is a little bit different. But yeah, I'm excited. So that's the end, like basically the end of the summer, kind of going into September. So it'll be kind of a big adjustment, but I'm like so excited. I was like, oh yeah, kind of a big personal thing.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. I feel like you're definitely on this like, the cusp of a new chapter. And that's always such a like bittersweet time, like you're saying, where it's literally like in Friends, where it's like an end of an era when, you know, Monica and Rachel aren't living together anymore because Monica's going to live with the boy. And, you know, it's like that where it's like, it's so hard to change, but there just comes a time when it's like, no, you know, like we're all ready for it and it's hard, but this is what we have to do. So that's so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. I think it's also like something that people don't talk about a lot because I don't really know. Like, I have had a rough couple of like weeks just with my own thoughts and feelings of just like in my head of, not am I making the right decision, but like, oh my God, I'm like leaving my friends, leaving this place that I've known and living with this person. But like, I love this person so much. I am so excited for this chapter, but just the idea of the transition itself is so overwhelming.
Totally.
I'm like, oh God, it's going to be such a change. And it's just like, but yeah, it's exciting because it is like very visibly the next chapter of my life. So I am excited for that. But just a crazy time. Your 20s are just so wild. I think it's also funny because I'm, like I was saying, I have a lot of weddings and I'm like not there yet, but then I have a lot of very, very single friends and there's just, every friend I have, I feel like is a completely different chapter. I have a best friend getting, she's having a baby. Sarah, the one that I had the radio show with, she's going to have a baby in September, which is so exciting. And so like everybody's just in a different chapter of life.
Yeah.
And your 20s are just so crazy because everyone can be the same age, but like not ever on the same page.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's exciting. It's a
That's
crazy
such a
time.
good way to
crazy
put
time
it.
to be alive.
Yeah, it is crazy times.
Yeah, I feel like we're getting, or at least I am, I don't know about you, Sadie, but getting to the point where we're also getting into like wedding mayhem. Like I got engaged when I was 23 and everyone was like shocked, so young. Like people told me like, are you sure that's way too young? And then we got married when I was 25. Whereas now I'm like, I think I've got like 4 or 5 weddings coming up over the next year. And it's just like, yeah, I feel like there's phases in your life where it feels like this is what's right for me right now. And then it's like a flip of a switch and all of a sudden you're like, nope, this is what's happening. Like none of my friends are having babies yet, but I feel like it's just going to be one summer when suddenly like all my friends are pregnant or
Exactly.
something.
Yeah. Oh, that's my dream is like have my kids like be best friends with all my best friends' kids.
Yeah.
And like my friend, I keep talking about her, she's gonna kill me, but my friend Sarah, I remember like a couple years ago because she'd gotten married in 2020, and she was like, okay, so like, what do you think your timeline is? I'm like, we're not on the same timeline, because she wants our kids to be friends.
Yeah.
And like maybe on like your third or fourth, like we'll be at that part, but like for now, it's just we're on very different. We're not on the same thing right now. But it's funny because also I feel like with you, like you getting married like early per se, like you in a way lucked out because now you don't have to stress about planning your own wedding while you have 5 in the same year.
That's
like you're point. Like, I've been like already done this. Here I go. Just enjoy myself at every wedding. Like that seems nice.
Yeah, exactly. It is so nice. Every time, like Sadie and I are in a book club, and our book club is like, I don't know, some kind of pipeline to engagement because so many girls join the book club and then get engaged right away. So yeah, if anyone's like waiting for their boyfriend to step on that, please join our book club because it works. But
oh my God, should I join your book club? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you can call in, but then it's like I hear like all the stress of what they're going with, and especially because I was like in the middle of the pandemic, but dealing especially money wise pre-pandemic prices. And I just like sit back and relax. And I'm like, oh my God, my life is so good that that's over.
You did it right. Like, honestly, you win. Yeah. You win. You win the game of life.
So good. So good. All right. Well, we've been doing something with all of the guests that we've had on for this new season, and we're all asking them the same question so that we can, like, at the end of the year, compare what everyone said. But yeah, so the question is, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, man. I would give her a lot of advice. I would tell my younger self I would tell her a lot of things. Okay, 3 things are coming to mind. I would tell her, number 1, stop comparing yourself to people around you. Number 2, with that, stop overthinking what people are thinking about you. And I would also just tell her that she's beautiful because I feel like I'm very grateful for the place that I'm in now, like just mentally. I feel like I'm there's days where I'm like, God, like I shouldn't wear these shorts or like something like that of like physical appearance. But like for the most part, I'm very happy with the person that I am and like have become because when I was younger, I was very much someone that would, again, like, compare myself to other people and with a lot of things. Like I skipped a grade when I was younger. So I was like the younger girl, the new kid for that year. And I just always remember like, and I wish I could tell her like, you did this for a reason. It's okay. Like you belong here. Like they wanted to move you up. But in that stage of life, I'm so young. I felt like I didn't belong. And so then I was always like trying to just like be somebody I wasn't and would like almost not mimic people, but just like try to fit in the best way. Like that girl's doing this, like I should do that more because she's doing it and people like her. So like maybe I should do that. And this is like elementary school. Yeah. But I think I always sort of had this mentality of like, I want to be as good as that person. And like, I want to be as smart as that girl because she's like, she finishes her test so fast or she has the best like outfits and like, I don't have cute outfits or, like whatever it was. I felt like I was always comparing myself to people and especially with like appearance. Like when I was young, I remember being in like the lunchroom and I don't think I've ever talked about this on my podcast or to anybody really, but I remember being in the lunchroom and like I would like compare what other people ate and then like look at their size and be like, that's not fair. Like, they're eating junk
Right.
food and my mom's giving me like freaking veggies and like I don't look like that. And I bet you I did look like that. Like,
Yeah.
but it was just like in my head of like I'm not good enough ever.
Mhm.
So that like makes me sad because I wish that I could just have, because even when I look back at photos, I'm like, oh my God, like she was so cute. Like, look at her. Like,
Yeah.
that was a cute outfit. Like, she was happy. But there's times where I'm like, I remember just really feeling like down on myself and not good enough. So I think I would tell her to not compare yourself to people and to not care what people thought about me, because half the time you think someone's thinking about you, they're not. Like, when you walk into a room, you think like everybody's like looking at you, psyched, whispering about you. Like, nobody's doing that. Like, literally, everybody thinks about themselves. So like, it's just nobody cares. And I just would like remind her that like she's perfect the way she is, and like things are gonna work out for her, and you're gonna grow into the person that you wanted to be. I just remember always like thinking of like, what am I going to be like when I was just thinking about this today, actually. It was a shower thought. I was thinking about it. I was thinking about when I was younger. I remember always thinking, when I'm 25,
Yes.
I don't know why that was the number in my head. I also remember when I was 13, I was like, when I'm 13, I'm getting a hot pink Razor like flip phone. And that never happened for me. But then my other age was like, when I'm 25, I'm going to do X, Y, and Z, and I'm going to be like this, and I'm going to look like this, and live here, and whatever it was. And I just feel like I'd be really proud of the person that I am now. So I feel like when you're young, you're still obviously like developing and learning and stuff, but yeah, it all works out. It all works out. And I'm not perfect by any means, but I would say that I've definitely become a person that I would like, I'm happy with, I guess I would say. Yeah.
I love that so much. And I think that's the most important part at the end of the day, is that you're proud of the person you are. And it's like, of course, every road to get to that end version of you or who you are right now, yes, there's ups and downs along the way, but it's like, in the grand scheme of things, if you can be like, I'm just happy to be where I'm at and not constantly being like, oh, but I could have this, or, oh, this person has that and whatnot. I think that's the goal. So I love that so much. Thanks for sharing that with us.
Sorry, that was kind of a ramble.
No.
Of course. All right, that was a lot.
No, I love that you shared that with us. I think our listeners can really resonate. And it's funny, actually, that you just were talking about 25 being a milestone, because the episode we just dropped today, so I guess a week from whenever this comes out, or 2 weeks, whenever, we just put out an episode all about things that changed once we were 25. And it's kind of all about like our later 20s and, like physical, mental changes that we've noticed in ourselves since like entering our late 20s, in quotes. But we were talking about that and how 25 is, for some reason, the age that you think you have to have your life all figured out by, or like that's when you're a grown up now, and it's like, where did that number come from? Like, why is that a thing? And I don't know. It's just interesting to think about.
It's so weird that we do that to ourselves and like set expectations. Like, because then I remember, some of the things that I like told myself were going to happen definitely didn't. And that's totally fine. But like, why was 25 in my head? I don't know.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, let's maybe wrap this up with you sharing where our listeners can find you, where they can listen to Girl We Gotta Talk podcast and all of that. We will link everything in the show notes, but if you just want to give us your end of episode ramble, that would be great.
Yeah. Okay, perfect. So you can find Girl We Gotta Talk podcast on probably every platform that this is on. The biggest ones being Apple Podcasts and Spotify. And then you could follow the Girl We Gotta Talk Instagram page. It's just at Girl We Gotta Talk podcast. So there I just post all the episode updates and then all the pop culture buzz, all the Scandival, like new update, like daily updates on my stories and stuff like that. And love interacting and engaging with my listeners. So like if you like doing polls or like you want to participate in any episodes, I always post stuff on my stories for that. So that's super fun. And then Purpose Media, if you're like interested in social media or anything, or you need help or videography, whatever. A lot of my work is remote. So I am in the DC area, but like I can do plenty of stuff remote. That's just purpose_media with an extra A. So I just like to say the extra A is for Alaina. And then the website is linked in that bio. So it's just purposemedia, llc.com. And then my personal Instagram, if you are interested, it's just Alaina_Jacques.
Awesome. Well, thanks so much again, Alaina, for hopping on and chatting with us. It was so great to catch up with you and talk all about pop culture. But like I said, I'll be following along all your social accounts to like stay tapped in. And I encourage all of our listeners to do the same as well.
Thank you so much for having me. This was so fun. I love, like, we're just going to have to do like maybe monthly episodes together because I have so much fun with you guys. Like, for real.
Same.
I love
Me
it.
too.
And then I'll update you guys all on the Britney stuff tonight. Can't wait. Can't wait.
Love it.
All right, you guys. Thanks again to Alaina for joining us on today's episode. We so enjoyed our chat with her, and we hope you did as well. Like we said, you can find all of Alaina's Instagram and links and everything in the show notes. You can also find us on social media at Our Golden 20s, also linked in the show notes. We're on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest, Spotify, all the things. And we also have a Patreon, which is the best way to support the podcast. For as little as $2 a month, you get exclusive content, including bonus episodes and all that fun stuff. So what I'm trying to say is check out the show notes. Lots of good stuff linked in there for you. But that is it for today. We'll see you next Tuesday.